Strange New Worlds musical episode was great, but I'm worried a Season 3 story will make Star Trek 2 meta. By author name. Warning, this article contains speculation for Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3. When Strange New Worlds aired its unexpected musical episode, Subspace Rhapsody, it was a boldly bizarre experiment, one that somehow worked. Against all odds, the franchise that gave us stoic Vulcans and prime directive debates delivered a heartfelt, funny, and impressively catchy hour of interstellar show tunes. It pushed the boundaries of what Star Trek could be, all while staying true to the characters and their emotional arcs. But now that Season 3 is on the horizon, there's a creeping concern in the air. Is Star Trek becoming too self-aware? Too meta? There are whispers of a storyline that could push the franchise past its thoughtful sci-fi roots and straight into self-referential overdrive. And while Subspace Rhapsody was fun, Strange New Worlds season may 3rd be about to cross the line between clever genre experimentation and eating its own tail. Strange New Worlds nailed the musical, against all odds. Let's be honest. When we first heard there was going to be a Star Trek musical, a lot of fans winced. It sounded like a gimmick, a Buffy knockoff, a cry for attention in an oversaturated streaming world. But what Strange New Worlds delivered was so much more than a stunt. Subspace Rhapsody wasn't just a collection of songs thrown into space, it was a fully integrated narrative experience that used music to unlock the characters' emotional truths. The episode wasn't afraid to be Silly Lon's angst-ridden ballad, Spock's sad breakup jazz number, but it also allowed the cast to evolve in ways that served the story long after the credits rolled. In a way, it reminded us why Strange New Worlds is such a breath of fresh air. It's not afraid to take risks. Whether it's a courtroom drama with Klingon opera, a body swap comedy, or a Gorn horror episode, the show keeps reinventing itself without losing its core. And yet, therein lies the danger. The meta threat looming in Season 3. While Paramount has kept most Season 3 details under wraps, interviews and behind-the-scenes comments suggest one of the upcoming episodes will revolve around fandom itself, possibly featuring a character or storyline that breaks the fourth wall and references the idea of Star Trek as a show within the universe of Star Trek. Now, some level of meta-commentary isn't new to the franchise. Episodes like Voyager's Author, or DS9's Far Beyond the Stars danced with metafictional themes in intelligent and emotionally resonant ways. Far Beyond the Stars, in particular, was a masterpiece of using metastructure to comment on race, identity, and storytelling. But what's being hinted at for Strange New Worlds Season 3 feels different. If rumors are true, we could be looking at something closer to the self-referential tone of Lower Decks, but done in live action, with Strange New Worlds' typically grounded aesthetic. That could be a tonal nightmare. Meta is a fine line in Star Trek. The beauty of Strange New Worlds lies in its ability to blend classic Trek optimism with contemporary storytelling. When it flirts with genre, whether horror, romance, or musical, it always anchors itself in the reality of its characters. That's what made Subspace Rhapsody great. It wasn't winking at the audience. It was showing us how people in that universe might react to a ridiculous sci-fi anomaly that forced them to sing their feelings. But a meta-fandom episode? That risks removing the characters from their universe entirely. Imagine if Captain Pike met someone who referenced him as a fictional character. Or if a 23rd century civilian turned out to be a Starfleet fanboy who knows the crew's tropes and story arcs. Suddenly, the show stops being about Star Trek the world and starts being about Star Trek the brand. It's like the difference between watching a Shakespeare play and watching a character in the play comment on how often they monologue. One pulls you into the drama. The other pushes you out of it. What if this is Lower Decks' influence? It's hard not to see Lower Decks' DNA creeping into Strange New Worlds. The crossover episode, Those Old Scientists, proved wildly popular, and for good reason. It was charming, nostalgic, and gave us something genuinely new. Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid stole the show, and their infectious enthusiasm worked in part because the episode acknowledged its absurdity. But what worked once could easily break on repeat. Lower Decks works because it's an animated satire that exists adjacent to canon. Its characters know they're living in a galaxy of tropes, and they poke fun at them while still growing as people. It's a cartoon built on love and irreverence. Strange New Worlds is a different beast. It takes place at a pivotal moment in Federation history. Its Pike, Spock, and Uhura are leading us toward the TOS era. The tone is earnest, the stakes are real, and even the most outlandish episodes still treat the universe as believable. They bring lower decks levels of meta into this world too often risks turning the entire franchise into a parody of itself. Meta is the new, gritty reboot. There's a trend across modern media: when all else fails, go meta. Deadpool did it brilliantly. She-Hulk tried to one-up it. And nearly every major franchise, from Star Wars to Doctor Who, has flirted with self-awareness as a way to appease longtime fans while winking at newcomers. But here's the problem: once you acknowledge the story as a story, it's hard to go back. If Strange New Worlds Season 3 introduces a character who knows he's in a story, or worse, who treats Starfleet history like a streaming series, it could cheapen everything that came before. Suddenly, the emotional stakes of Pike's future, Lon's trauma, or Chapel and Spock's doomed romance become performance notes in a meta-theatrical play. It's a slippery slope, and Star Trek has always worked best when it plays things straight, even when the concepts are wild. What's at stake for the franchise? With Discovery ending and Picard wrapped, Strange New Worlds is now the flagship of live-action Star Trek. It has a responsibility not just to tell good stories, but to represent what the franchise stands for: curiosity, empathy, exploration, and the human condition viewed through a sci-fi lens. If it leans too hard into meta-narratives, it risks alienating fans who come to Star Trek for sincerity, not satire. That's not to say there's no room for humor or self-reflection, but it has to be earned. It has to be real. Subspace Rhapsody worked because, as weird as it was, it still cared deeply about its characters. If Season 3 can do the same, even with meta elements, then there's hope. But if it starts turning Starfleet into a brand and the crew into mascots, then we're in trouble. The final frontier should still feel real. In the end, this isn't about gatekeeping. It's not about saying Star Trek should never change or experiment. If anything, Strange New Worlds has proven that bold genre shifts can breathe life into long-running franchises. But the meta line is a real one. Cross it too far and the magic breaks. When we watch Star Trek, we want to believe in the 23rd century. We want to believe in the Enterprise, in Starfleet, in the idea that humanity can become something better. Meta commentary turns that belief into a joke. Let's hope Season 3 knows when to hold back. We don't need another musical. We don't need a show within a show. We just need good stories, great characters, and a universe that takes itself seriously so that we can believe in it too. Because once Star Trek becomes fully aware that it's Star Trek, the journey ceases to be bold. It just becomes performance. Let's hope Season 3 knows when to hold back. We don't need another musical. We don't need a show within a show. We just need good stories, great characters, and a believe in it too.